Good morning, my dear, and welcome. This is a really important video, and I'm excited to talk about this topic. It's a video that I know that I'm going to be referencing a bunch, especially going into the end of the year 2025 and 2026. So today we're going to be talking about false prophets. We're going to be talking about pedestalization, demonization. There's this, I was in prayer this morning. I was talking to God about what this community really needs to hear today. And if this is your first time here, welcome. My name is Sarah. I'm a channeler and an astrologer. We're not going to be talking, I cleared the astrology board, but I love this backdrop, so I'm just going to keep it. We're not going to be talking about astrology today. We're going to be talking about this new world that we're co-creating with the God of our individual understandings, and what the God of my understanding, source, universe, spirit, divine intelligence, all there is, was really saying this morning is that there's movement in all directions. What did I write down? The timelines have chosen. The timelines have chosen. And so I thought of this in a really practical, tactile way. If you're new around here, I come from corporate, I come from a traumatic background, there's tons of information available if you're new to get to know me, especially on my website as well. And I thought of it in you're seeing people thrive on a timeline that maybe is crumbling. You're seeing people thrive in old ways. You're seeing people prosper in an old structure, in an old system that we, as a collective know we're not going to be utilizing anymore. And so it really takes our own individual discernment to really not say they're going to get that comeuppance, they're going to get what's coming for them. It's just going to say, wow, that's a different timeline. That's a different timeline. And I have a whole video on what does separate timelines mean. And I use the analogy of we're all at a gathering, we're all at a party. And, we're just being moved to different tables at the wedding. There's a placard at this table that you're supposed to sit at. That's your timeline with the community, the people at that table. So you've got to go to the table that you're meant to be at. Other channelers, other astrologers, Pam Gregory, she uses the analogy of we're all getting on the same airplane. We're all going to 5D. We're all ascending. Some of us get on first, some of us get on last. The plane's not taking off without you. And so when we speak about separate timelines, and especially because I thought of the train has left the station, I was really how do I describe this in the right way? We're all going to the same destination, but the timeline getting there is they've split. They've split. And so when we think of, there was another analogy that I'll give that it wasn't mine, but I had heard it, and or the one that I use for my work. Usually when you stumble across, this is the Multidimensional Caffè. It's just you and I having coffee and tea, transcending time and space, and we're chit-chatting about the awakening. Usually my channel pops up on your feed when you are ready to get off the merry-go-round. You have been repeating the same patterns, getting the same results, and you're tired of it, and you get off the merry-go-round. But what you notice is that maybe there's family members still on that merry-go-round. Maybe there are coworkers that are still on that merry-go-round. I come from corporate, so there was a lot of people that I left behind, but that's their reality. That has nothing to do with me. It's not about leveling up from other people. It's about leveling out a reality. So when we think of it that way, and it's more so we're all taking different paths to get to the same destination, but we're all been walking on similar paths. I think around I'd say what was it called? Why can't I think of it? The eclipse portals, maybe around September or whenever you see this, timelines kind of came together, and there's a little bit of friction. And now we're kind of going off in our own separate directions. We're finding the timeline that's best for us, that gets us to the top of the mountain. Some people want to take the more scenic trip to get to the top of the mountain. Some people want to take the leisurely stroll to get up to the mountain. It don't matter, but we can't walk two paths at the same time. So I really love that. There's movement in all directions. That's kind of the message that was coming through. The most important thing, so that's kind of the preview, that's the overarching theme and kind of my stance on the separate timelines. Now I want to talk a little bit about false prophets. I want to talk a little bit about the demonization, the pedestalization of, I see you on this timeline, you see me on this timeline, I don't jive, or what you think that I'm doing is over here. This came from, the moment that kind of this video all clicked in my head was yesterday. I was posting something on my social. I was posting a short, which, I try my best to post. I'm doing it and I'm showing up, and I really love that. And so there was just a little notification on my YouTube. I don't check the analytics right now. I'm taking a month off from that. But there was just this little one in the top of my YouTube that I was like, oh, I should just click on that one, Sarah, and see what, it was very, very gentle, very, very early in my Sunday morning. I was still having my early coffee. I had not put my sparkles on yet. And I had grounded, and I had done, my normal bubbling, but I had not done my, I'm about to work, double grounding and triple grounding and double bubbling that I've been doing lately. And, there was a really gorgeous comment. I was really grateful for it, which is I feel sorry for you. Jesus died for your sins. And it was on a short of me talking about, I love astrology and I can talk about astrology. And so I had this moment of okay, I know I'm growing. I know the specific mantras that I spoke yesterday are coming to fruition or are coming into existence. So I'm so grateful. There's movement on my timeline and I'm reaching new audiences. I'm so excited and I'm so grateful for that. And there was this immediate thought of you don't know how much I talk to Yeshua. You don't know that I talk to God. And I was you want to go? You want to talk? And I was wow, that person doesn't even know you. You don't need to defend yourself. Just go to prayer, go to this, go to that. And it's something that it just cracked me open. So I really wanted to talk about it because I've seen that on multiple pages. I've seen that on multiple spiritual pages, spiritual preachers and teachers, where they're Yeshua's awesome. I call him Joshua, Jesus, whomever is awesome. But you're not doing it in the way that others maybe have said, you have to do it this way. And so there's that demonization of what you're doing is wrong. What you're doing, the way that you're expressing your faith is wrong. When you view it from above, it's just saying you're glitching my matrix. You're different and wrong. It's very much the way you're fearing is wrong, the way you're praying is wrong, the way you're eating is wrong, all of these different things. We can break it down really simply into that's just not the way that I would do it. I love coffee. I'm drinking a double espresso. I talk about it. My entire content umbrella is a multidimensional cafe. I love coffee. I love tea. I love bougie coffee, bougie tea. I've worked in coffee before. I enjoy the processing of it. I love a naturally processed, jammy, chocolatey, low acidity coffee. That's, oh my goodness. A Nepalese coffee, please send it. I have a Throne wish list. You can send things. I have an Amazon wish list. You can send things. And I'm open to surprise gifts. So please, if you love a good coffee, please send me what it is that you love. I think this is a blend of a Nicaraguan and a deep Italian roast. I made a deliciousness. But low acidity, please. I can't handle Colombian. I absolutely can't handle Colombian coffee. It's too high acidity for my belly, so I can't. Where was I? Some person might not like coffee at all. They might have a heart condition that would kill them. And so their reality is, I couldn't step into your reality. I couldn't imagine that reality. One's no better or worse. One's not right or wrong. They're just very different. It's easy to understand that with the theme of coffee and tea. It's easy to understand that when we kind of go up the level of intensity of where you live in the world, the lifestyle that you choose to have, the partnerships that you choose to have in your life. And then we get to the more spicy topics like your chosen, if you participate in politics, your belief systems, religion or spirituality or nothing, agnostic, or all these different things, atheist, all these different things. And then we're going to get into, and we're going to talk about channeling, and we're going to talk a little bit more about connecting to interdimensionals and multidimensional beings. Yes, we were going to talk about aliens. So, as a channeler, I have a monthly gathering with the Council of Nine, talk to them once a month. I talk to them all the time. They're always in my periph. I've been channeling the nine since I've been channeling, and they are wonderful spirit teams. They are wonderful collections of, higher intelligent beings that are here to give us some information. That's that. They're not God. They're not gods in any capacity. I have, if you go to the offerings and ways to work with me page, if you check out my website, I have a whole blog written about them, the nine all throughout history, all different things. But in my perspective and experience of the nine, they're not gods. They're definitely have been around a lot longer, could be perceived as maybe higher intelligent beings, have access to different types of technologies than we do. I love learning. I love learning from people that know more than me. So of course I'm going to connect to the council and offer that type of information here to you. In the same way, let's use the lens, we speak in lenses around here. In the same way where, I was thinking about like what type of analogy I would want to really offer here. What if you had like Tony Robbins, Gary Vee, Chris Williamson on speed dial, and you could ask them a question? Like Lewis Howes, like these are Dr. Joe Dispenza. What if you had, these are just, people that have done things in my realm. Pam Gregory. What if you would just send a line over to Pammy and be like, hey, what do you think of this? And Pammy would respond back and give you that information. If you were offered like, hey, Pam wants to talk to you, you would take it, right? Dr. Joe wants to talk to you. Anytime you want to chat, Dr. Joe wants to chat with you. You would take it, would you not? You're not praying to that person. You're not pedestalizing Pam. You're not pedestalizing Joe. You're just saying, wow, that person that has studied and has mastered and has done something that I choose, that I'm learning as a student, this is a teacher. I would love to have access to that information. I want you to start thinking of your spirit team and also the interdimensionals and the aliens, I guess, for lack of a better term, that you're going to be connecting with. There's also, I'm not the only channeler that's talking about it, we're about to go through a massive awakening in the next few months where many people all over the world, millions of people, maybe more, I have no idea, hundreds of thousands, I don't know, I can't even quantify it, are going to be connecting to aliens, are going to be connecting to their spirit team, are going to be channeling their own, guardian angels. They're going to be having this experience that is going to be paradigm shattering. It's going to be, I thought this and now I'm seeing this. I thought this and now I'm seeing this. I believed this my entire life and now I'm experiencing this. Because we're experiential learners around here. I myself am as well. So I needed to really dive into experiences to be able to say, oh, I saw it, I touched it, and it's real. With that being said, we can, in essence, pedestalize our spirit team. I've done it before in my life. I've done it before. Oh my goodness. My God, you're like, you gotta share yourself. You gotta share your story, girl. Okay, I'm gonna do a little bit of an aside. We're gonna go down a, what is it called? We're gonna take a little side quest of Sarah pedestalizing her childhood best friend. So when I was growing up, I had a guide, his name's Jeffrey. And when I was a baby, he taught me how to bubble myself. He taught me how to bubble before I could speak, and in my 2-3 years old. I knew how to bubble myself. I knew how to protect myself. I knew how to bubble and ground and put an invisibility cloak over my entire grounding cord, my cord going all the way up to the space that my soul came from. He taught me all of these different things. And he'd been with me my entire life. When I had my full awakening and I was, really learning how to channel and all of these different things, there was a mentor of mine that started to channel Jeffrey, and he had come through for me. I will never forget, I had this moment, I was at the gym and I was like crying in the shower. I was like, he came back. Oh my God. I had full on put him as the Knight of Cups energy. He was the end all to be all. Very embarrassing experience for me. Very embarrassing experience. I also have him tattooed on my arm. Yeah, that's Jeffrey. That's me, my little alien spaceship. I don't think I've ever shared who's in there. So, cut to me having a shamanic clearing with my last shaman, and the relationship that I had had with Jeffrey, he equally was like, you need me. And there was an extraction that needed to happen. Basically, there was like some contracts that needed to be cut. And so I know, I hope you're still with me, but I had basically had listened blindly to this guide, obviously, that had gotten so comfortable with my pedestalization of him. Again, our guides are not gods. They're not gods. Do you see what I'm trying to paint a picture of you here? Like a guide that had helped me since childhood, turned not like corrupt, but was like, I like this. Now you need me. And so I really actively chose to end that contract. Cut to, I woke up one morning. This was, I'd say over a year ago at this point. I woke up one morning and basically I woke up and all of a sudden I'm at this, within moments of me opening my eyes, I'm at a ceremony. Jeffrey basically went into the light and is no longer Jeffrey. He's not here anymore. He's not a part of my guidance team. He's gone into the light. He's gone on. And it was really lovely. I'm bawling my eyes out. It was a very emotional, intense experience for me. But I learned so much along the way. I learned so much about pedestalizing guides, pedestalizing your spirit team, and also I don't know the phrase, what's the Beauty and the Beast vibe? Because that's something like the Beauty and the Beast syndrome. I've had that many spells in my human life, and with Jeffrey for sure. And so it was very much, this is vulnerable for me to talk about. I didn't know we were going to go here, but we speak from I statements around here. So I wanted to share with you that I'm not preaching at you. I am saying this happens. This happens. People get very connected to. I'm going to share a comment that is from one of my videos. I did a past life tale of me as a Revolutionary War soldier. And so if you go to that video, it's on my past life tales. One of my beautiful subscribers had shared an experience that they had with a friend of theirs that had had a full past life experience and started to basically wear that as their mask. I am this past life experience. I am this being. I am this version of myself. And I'm butchering it, but they start to dress that way and talk that way and talk about it all the time, which it's a beautiful thing to see and clear these past lives. I have numerous past lives that are on YouTube alone. That doesn't define me as the 38-year-old woman that I am here and now. There have been many times that I was like, I am the this, I am the this. So I get it, but coming back to center and saying, we're human. We're in a human body. We are God, source, having a human experience in a human body. We cannot identify as the beings that we're channeling. We cannot identify as the channel that comes through. I've talked about, when I'm channeling, there's a version of myself named Dr. Francis that I've channeled before. It's a parallel universe that's happening and experiencing. So yes, it's a fractal of me. It's also one of my guides. It is not a god. We just kind of collaborate together. Okay, Sarah, so how do I make this healthy? You've talked about all these unhealthy ways. How do we make this healthy? We look at it as a round table. This is what I do at the council gatherings. This is how I talk about, in my Awakened Mastery course. This is how I talk about any bit. We go back to corporate, which is there are so many beautiful things where it comes to leadership and corporate, whereas it's not so much being a boss, it's about being a leader, but everyone sits at the round table together. Everyone brings something to the table. So you're not going to your spirit team, to your guides, even to your higher self and saying, please, send me the money, send me this, send me the love, send me this. You're saying, okay, I need to become the vibrational match for the amount of money, for the partner, for the success that I want to have in this world. What do you think? How do I get there? Let's all collaborate. Let's have a round table. Let's have a discussion. Put up a board on the wall. Let's all chit chat. What's the best way? And you're the one in human form that gets to act them out, that gets to try them out, that gets to integrate, utilize the messages that are given. That's that. Again, I'm going to say this numerous times throughout this video. This is not a replacement for prayer. This is not prayer. This is not you going to God. This is not you going to divine intelligence, source, spirit. This is not a replacement for that. This is about you co-creating, have universe or spirit at the table with you as a co-collaborator. But this is not a replacement for prayer. This is not in any way saying, like, this is important. This is important because it's saying you're allowed to be a child of God, and you're also allowed to participate in your own destiny. You're also allowed to work on your mindset, your thoughts, words, actions, and intentions, and let the universe around you, aka the matrix that we're residing in, let that be what you think about, what you want, what you desire. You're allowed to have both. And having both is kind of a beautiful thing. Yeah. So view it as a round table with your guides. I mentioned false prophets, and I find that when you start to channel, when random people start to channel, or we can use the lens of the past and the future. So in 2025, you might have seen a lot of spiritual people, a lot of political people, a lot of celebrities that have kind of fallen a little bit from grace, where you recognize that what they say and what they do and what they think and what they actually believe are not all congruent. You've seen people kind of say, I am the channel. I am this. And maybe are putting a lot of their own personal belief systems into that and saying the channel believes this. These are people with big audiences. These are people that have been doing this for their entire career, that all of a sudden you're like, that doesn't resonate. That doesn't resonate with me. I'm being told something and I don't believe that. And so this is a really important juncture for you to recognize that that's not the train that you're on. That's not the plane that you're on. That's not the line that you're in. So you don't have to demonize that, and you don't have to save anybody. That person that is doing that, that person that believes that person that is in that other train, that's not your business. That is not your business. So stop looking at it and participate. That's not your table. You know, I'll put the link below for the timelines. I want you to watch that video if you have not. My perspective on the timelines, it's just a very practical way to recognize who's at your table, who's in your community, who are the people that are on your timeline. Talk to them. Stop judging somebody else's table. Stop judging somebody else's timeline. That's not your business. That's also your perspective, your perception. I have a whole video on perception. These are very practical tools that I want you to integrate, that I really want to offer to you so that we can make sense of what's going on. We can make sense of our own frustration, our own triggers, and we can just say and discern, that's not for me. That's okay. Believe what you want, think what you want, do the things. I saw like a random quote the other day. I think it was from Keanu Reeves, where it's like, I'm just so okay. If you believe something, if you think 2 + 2 is 5, that's your business. I don't need to teach you a thing. I don't need to do any of those things. That's your business. That's your life. Maybe it is to you. That's okay. My reality is mine. Your reality is yours. I like strong coffee. Maybe you love Colombian high acidity coffee. That's not my reality. That's okay. And so I'm just being shown again, the false prophets, people that do not have this language and grounding, all of a sudden, Yeshua comes to them. Maybe there's other ego involved investments that are happening in there. When I'm channeling, I discern and I tell you, like, you've seen me channel where I'm like, I am this. This is what's coming through. Like when I'm, in full trance and channeling, it's like the 9 is speaking through my voice. So in essence, I could say, like, I am the 9. Like the words that could come out of Sarah, the human avatar's body, are I am the 9. I'm also aware that I'm channeling an energy. I'm on the telephone with the energy of the Council of 9. I'm not the 9. I'm just the telephone wire. I'm just the channel. I'm just the vessel that they come through. But without grounding and understanding, without full-on acceptance of reality and understanding any of this language, there could be a full-on, I am Yeshua, I am Mother Mary, I am this, I am that. And so that's where that false prophet comes in. Whereas we are going into this massive wave, a massive wave of awakening where big things are happening, massive quantum leaps. And I know you feel it. I know you're feeling it, and it's a beautiful thing. We're not like, our trauma responses are actually kind of just like, no, I'm walking towards something beautiful. This is a beautiful space that we're walking into. We're not even thinking like, how good can it get? How good can it get? There's a beautiful podcast. There's Pammy and Cynthia. I'm going to put the link below. This is actually vibes completely. We're talking about like, is there an objective reality? So I'll put that podcast below. Amazing. Where this woman, she's like, how good can it get? We know that we're on the cusp, the precipice of something so magical and so profound. We're in the midst of it. We're in the chrysalis. We're in the goo of the butterfly. And we're stepping into a wing is forming. A new reality is forming. We're doing it. We're way past the point of no return. But there is a whole wave of people that maybe do not even have this language that should really utilize your discernment. You don't owe anyone. I thought to myself of like, do a whole video about who am I? And I talk to Yeshua and I do this, talking about like the beginning of the story. Whereas like, I don't need to prove that. I'm going to put it into a teaching container. So I'm going to share the story. I'm a storyteller, a raconteur at heart. And I love the way that I get to connect with you. But I don't owe anyone any explanation of how I pray, how I do anything. I know what I know, what I know, what I know. I'm really comfortable with that. So if I'm not for you, that's totally okie dokie. You can swipe past my face and you can continue on your life. You don't have to tell me how much of a mixed match we are. That's okay. I am so okay with that. I'm not for everybody and not everybody's for me. So really take some time with this, really let this integrate, really let, I put in the description always that my voice is meant to unlock codes within you. We're going to be seeing very different expressions of timelines. I don't need to know how many. I don't need to know if it's two. I don't care. I don't care. I know my vibe. I know my timeline. I know my people. I know where I'm going and I know my North Star and I'm staying in my lane. There's no traffic in my lane. You're a part of my lane. This is beautiful. I'm excited to share that journey with you. But if you see something, just say thank you. Thank you for showing me that. Thank you for taking on that soul contract. I'm so grateful. God bless this person. Whatever you'd like to do, pray for them. Do whatever you want to do. I don't care. It's not my business what you do. But discern where that's not my reality. We'll use the cafeteria line because I talk about this in my work and I have for many years. All of these things, religion, spirituality, aliens, channeling, angels, whatever you want to call it, it's all a cafeteria line. So as you go through your cafeteria line, put on your plate what resonates with you. Don't stand in front of the Brussels sprouts if you don't like Brussels sprouts and say, I can't believe you exist. I can't believe you're here. Don't scream at them. Move along with your life. Let something that's not of your perception exist in this world. Let something that's not your flavor exist in this world. Fully. Just because you like warm colors and not cool colors, you don't have to scream at the cool colors. Just because you like coffee or just because you like green juice doesn't mean you have to get mad at somebody who likes to drink mud water, who likes to drink mushroom coffee. Everybody's allowed to have, everybody is on the planet. Everyone, let me rephrase that. Everyone who is on the planet right now is needed. You wouldn't be here if you weren't needed, if you weren't a part of something so much bigger. So trust the way that you do things. If you're channeling, channel. If you're doing this, remember, bring everybody down to the same table. Everybody comes down to the same table. This is not a replacement for prayer. I just need to say it one more time. How you pray, how you talk to divine intelligence, the God of your understanding, whatever you labeled, every single breath, every single thing that you see and feel and touch, all the way to the farthest star in the solar system. Whatever you label that. God, universe, source, spirit. Whatever you label that. Divine intelligence, all there is. God, goddess, all there is. That's not what I'm talking about. This is talking about channeling. This is talking about the energies of multidimensionals, interdimensionals, galactic beings, aliens. This is talking about being on one timeline or another timeline and just kind of being cool with being cool. Being okay with people not understanding you. Being okay with not sparring. Being okay with letting things just kind of just be. Like, okay, that's fine. This boils down to breath work. This boils down to nervous system work. This boils down to journaling. I hope this made sense. False prophets, pedestallation, demonizations, and the conflicts in between, the friction between timelines have chosen, movement in all directions. I think we touched upon it. I think we did it. What questions do you have for me? How does this resonate with you? What are you experiencing in your life that could really nourish this? Like how could you share with the group? And please like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share this with someone that you think could really resonate with this. Take some time, journal this out. Ask yourself, where have I pedestalized people? You know? For me, it's been, Pam Gregory and Dr. Joe. Those are human beings that reside on this planet. Yeah. If I want to be more like them, ingest their content. Listen to their stuff. Send them a letter. I've seen Dr. Joe speak before. It was amazing. It was amazing. So ask yourself, where have I pedestalized people? Where have I pedestalized my guides? These are guides, not gods, guides. Where have I demonized others that believe something different than me? And how can I come back to neutrality? How can I realize there's one side of the penny, there's another side of the penny, and there's just a penny? How can I come back to a neutral space and view this whole thing from above? So spend some time unpacking this. Please send me a line. Please reach out directly. And please check out my one-on-one services, my membership groups. I have tons of resources for you. And yeah, I'm here to listen. I love hearing from you. Thank you so much for being here, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.